Oh, hi there! Have you ever wondered how you can make wonderful backgrounds in your adult coloring books? You have probably seen a lot of different backgrounds by different colorists and you think, oh, this looks so good or fancy or amazing. How am I ever going to be able to do that? In today's video in Tips and Tricks for Beginner Colorists, we're diving into something a lot of beginner colorists wonder about: how to create beautiful backgrounds in your adult coloring books. Whether you're using colored pencils or pastels, watercolor or oil pastels, I will walk you through some easy techniques, give you tips and tricks to get started. You don't need any fancy skills at all. My name is Katja, I'm CatColouring. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm very happy that you stopped by. In today's episode, I will show you how you can create beautiful backgrounds using soft pastels. Grab your coloring book, grab your soft pastels, and let's get started on creating some beautiful backgrounds. Today we're going to work in Flower Haiku, because Flower Haiku is first and foremost a book I would really like to color more in, but also because this coloring book has a lot of space on the pages like this one. So here we have the T page, and it's about the tiger lilies. And if you look on reference photos like I do, then you can quickly decide the colors for the background. So tiger lilies can be red or yellow or orange. They can also be pink, but I do think that I like these golden sort of colors. You can see the next page here. So for this one, I will be using some yellow and orange colors. I have here my Mungyo soft pastels. And you can see I have already taken some pastels out because I am working currently on another page for another video. But over here you can see the colors, and we have a very, very nice yellow color, cadmium yellow. So as I said, I want to use yellow and orange colors, so this one is a sure choice. Then the dark cadmium yellow also looks very interesting. And the dark chrome yellow, but they are not the same. This is a bit darker, but I will have to just try them out to see how they are next to each other. Because I also have a cadmium orange here, a bit darker, and then the orange. So I don't want to go darker into the red tones. I have here a little piece of paper. I'll just remove my book just a little bit, because I want to just try them out. And now I will show you something. I will just do this just to test the colors next to each other. I want to see how they work. And just remove the excess here. And you can see that we can create a very good gradient. However, these two, as I said, they are so next to each other that I want to compare them. And then the cadmium orange, because if they are too close, I perhaps cannot use them. I will just take a cotton pad. And you can see the gradients here. You can also see what you're not going to do. You are not going to use your soft pastels directly on the page, because as soon as you try to smoosh it a bit, you can see you get lines and streaking, and that's not good. This means that you will have to use another method, and I will show you that method in a minute. I will just find the page again. Here it is. Okay, so what will you need? You will need your soft pastels. These are the colors that I have chosen: cadmium yellow, dark cadmium yellow, dark chrome yellow, and cadmium orange. The four colors right here. You will also need a scissors, a pair of scissors, and then you will need cotton pads to distribute the soft pastel on the page and help you create gradients. You can also use a soft brush. This is just a normal makeup brush that I use to just remove, the surplus of the soft pastels. You will also need a an eraser, both a normal one and for small spaces, one of these small erasers. They are so good at getting into these very small spaces where I can't use the big eraser. And then you will use, you are going to use a fixative, so you will have to buy a fixative. And I will show you mine at the end of this video. Without further ado, let's get going. And here is my trick. And you use the scissors to scrape some of the soft pastel off. And I will begin down here with the darkest color, which is the cadmium orange. And you can see I don't care if I get some on the motif, because I am going to erase it after I'm done mushing this. So you can see I just sort of distribute it and mush it gently into the paper, so the surface of the paper is colored. And I know it's a bit difficult, you know, down here. So you will just have to sort of spread this binding apart so you can get the soft pastel in here. And this is just so, you know, we don't have a very wide line there. Or is it called a broad wide line? I don't want that. So now I think I have gotten enough color on the paper. This means that I will take my brush and just remove the excess. I will not use my hand and do this, because if there is a bit larger, what can you say, powder clump of this soft pastel, it will make a streak. So we'll get a line, and I don't want that. So we have to be careful. Then I will take the next color, which is that was the orange I started with, and this is the cadmium orange. And I will just scrape something off again, and use the other side of this cotton pad to distribute it onto the paper. And I don't use a lot because it's almost the same color. You can really not see that much of a color difference. So I will take now the chrome yellow and add it as the, well, next sort of color, or next layer, I was about to say. So now we can see the color difference beginning to show up, because this has more yellow in it than orange. And yet again, remove the excess, and then we will take the dark cadmium yellow. And now I will just add it to the sides and a little bit in the middle. I will take a new cotton pad because this is more yellow than orange, and I don't want any orange on this. But I do want it a bit darker to the sides. And then I will take the cadmium yellow in the end, right here. And that was too little. We'll just have to add a little bit more again. And you can see that the transitions between the different colors when you use soft pastels are blended really well into each other, so you don't get those lines you might risk getting when you use coloring pencils or other mediums. Then we are going to the next step, and that is cleaning up our drawing. As you can see, I have already begun cleaning up the motif by using my eraser. And it's a matter of getting as much of the soft pastel erased as possible before you use the fixative. It doesn't have to be completely perfect because we are going to cover this with a coloring pencil. So you can see the difference between here we have the soft pastel and here it's cleaned. And this tiny one, this is a Mono Zero eraser from Tombow. The round one is just absolutely brilliant to erase the soft pastel from these tiny, tiny places where the normal eraser really can't. Here you can also discover something that you didn't do when you colored. I have forgotten to put some color here and also down here. Then on larger areas I will take my large eraser and try to remove as much as a soft pastel that I can without removing too much. And then I use this little fine eraser to remove the rest. Luckily, this is a book where this is one-sided. This means that even though I perhaps got some of the soft pastel on the opposite page, I don't have to necessarily remove it all because there isn't a motif over here that I can, ruin. But if this was a normal coloring book with motifs on every page, then I would perhaps consider taking some washi tape or masking tape and just putting it over here just to prevent too much soft pastel on the other side. Because before you fixate this soft pastel, there is a risk of it, rubbing off on your hand. You can see here I have some on my hand. And I can, of course, just wash it off. But if you then, if I use the soft pastel on this page and then accidentally got some of the soft pastel over here, it's a bigger cleaning job. So, to prevent it, it's good to secure the other page. The last thing we need to do before we can finish this page by coloring it with coloring pencils is using a fixative. And I use this one, and this is just, it was the first that I could get a hold on from Pen Store. Again, I have said this before in my videos, there are a lot of people out there saying that you can use hairspray. I have not experimented with this because I don't have hairspray, I don't use it. I use mousse for my hair, but if you do it, be aware that there are some hairsprays that will color the pages yellow over time or give them a sort of yellow look. So I would not recommend using hairspray. I would recommend using a fixative, and they are not that expensive. And you can get them everywhere in all assorted stores where you can buy your other coloring supplies like coloring pencils and so on. You can also get these fixatives. My page is now really nice and dry. It takes a couple of minutes to dry. It does get a little wet surface when you use the fixative, but it will soon dry, and then you have a nice coloring page ready for coloring. You can also see this is, this is an Amazon printed book. This one. So the paper isn't that thick like in other adult coloring books, but you can see soft pastel does not harm the paper in any way, nor does the fixative. So you can really use soft pastels to create these beautiful backgrounds without having to worry about crinkled pages or ruined pages. It really doesn't happen. I could also have used green colors, a green color combo for a nice green background, but as I said, these tiger lilies are normally orange and yellowish, and I really want to color them in those colors. The next page, I think we will look at in the next episode of Tips and Tricks for Beginner Colorists, where we will look at making backgrounds with colored pencils. I hope that this video was useful to you. Thank you so much for watching. Please give it a like, a thumbs up. It really does help my channel. If you're new here, check out the playlists on my channel and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. If you have ideas for content for my tips and tricks videos, write it down in the comments. As always, have a lovely day. Take care of yourself until I see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.